What is up, everybody? It is week 8. I'm Matthew Giraldi, and this is the Fantasy Authority. And we are talking DFS stacks. So let's get to it. All right, we're going to start with the low price stack this week. And it is going to be the Indianapolis Colts, the Tennessee Titans. And the reason for the low price situation here, that's the Indianapolis Colts' offense. So this game looks great. In terms of game total, it's sitting at 51 points. On the Sunday slate, it is the highest priced or the highest totaled game. The other two games that have higher totals for this week are the Cowboys and Vikings and the Giants and Chiefs. And all of those teams, they play outside of the Sunday day slate. So both teams have an implied total over 24.5 points. And the Colts offense is really cheap. Carson Wentz, he's really come on as of late. This week on DraftKings, he's priced as the quarterback 10. On FanDuel, he's priced as the quarterback 11. And this is a Tennessee Titans defense that they've been pretty good against the run, but they are really getting slaughtered in the air. Right now, they are allowing the 6th most passing yards in the league. They've allowed the 4th most passing plays of 40 or more yards. I mean, to me, that screams Michael Pittman. When these two teams met the first time, he had 12 targets, 125 air yards, and he caught 6 balls for 68 yards. So he had a 33% target share that game. I mean, what is he going to do now with Paris Campbell out and a team that generally is pretty decent at stopping the run? You know, this looks like a smash opportunity for Pittman and for Wentz. The first time that they met, so Carson Wentz, he went 19 of 37 for 194 yards. He didn't throw a passing touchdown. Okay, you know, that's not good, obviously. And, you know, history might not repeat itself, though. Since that game, Carson Wentz has actually been really good from fantasy football perspective. He has thrown for over 1,000 yards. He's thrown 1,003 yards, 8 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. And he's completing 68.14% of his passes. So he's looking pretty good in this offense, and things are starting to click for the Colts. And then obviously on the other side of the ball, it's Derrick Henry, right? Like, I'm not playing this slate without at least some exposure to the King. Against the Colts, in his last 6 games, he has run for 93 yards, 82 yards, 149, 103, 178, 113. And I mean, he scored 5 touchdowns on the ground in those games. So he's priced up a little bit, but it's not that bad if you're mixing in some of these Colts pass catchers. You can even throw in a guy like Mo Alley Cox. He's been seeing the end zone lately. He's been seeing some targets. He looks good, and they're pretty cheap. In terms of the medium price game, I hate that I keep kind of going towards this homer view on things, but from sheer fantasy purposes, in particular, Jalen Hurts, you know, he hasn't necessarily looked like a great NFL quarterback as of late, but in terms of fantasy football, I mean, he's putting up the numbers, and a lot of it is coming on the ground. But this is a week where this might be a get right situation for the Eagles offense. The Lions defense is, I mean, to say they're awful is an understatement. I mean, they're not chewing anyone's kneecaps or legs or feet or anything, especially down in the red zone. They have allowed 100% conversion rate to opposing offenses inside the goal to go. Like, if you get first and goal, you're going to score a touchdown against this team. Like, that's pathetic. The NFL average right now for opposing defenses is 73%. Okay, in the red zone, the Lions are allowing 84% touchdown conversion rate. The NFL average is 60.9. This is a situation, too, where, you know, obviously Jalen Hurts is in play against this defense. Kenneth Gainwell steps into a great situation here as well. The Lions have been kind of stout a little bit against the pass. Like, they haven't really given up a ton of points to opposing receivers, but that's because on the ground, opposing offenses are able to run the ball against these guys. They're one of 10 teams that have allowed over 100 rushing yards per game. Lamar Jackson, he ran for 58. Joe Burrow ran for 20. So, I mean, like, a couple of these mobile quarterbacks, they've been able to get a little bit of yards on the ground, too, against them. When it does come to Gainwell, I will say this. Be careful in terms of whether Gainwell is going to get a lot of the carries on the ground. So after Miles Sanders went out to injury, Gainwell and Boston Scott effectively split the carries on the ground. Gainwell had 5, Boston Scott had 7. Where Gainwell really came through was in the passing game. He had 7 targets. He had 8 total that game, but 7 of them came after Sanders went out for the game. And Boston Scott only had 2 targets. Scott, he might see a lot of the ground and pound work, but it might not be a situation where we see him in the air. We don't know whether they're going to be playing with the lead or from behind. This Eagles team has been kind of an enigma, but missing Miles Sanders. So we're going to see what Kenneth Gainwell can do and what Boston Scott can do. And the Eagles are also obviously out with, or they don't have Zach Ertz anymore, right? And Dallas Goedert last week without Ertz, he played 93% of snaps. He had 5 targets. He caught 3 balls for 70 yards. So Goddard's going to be a focal point in this offense, especially with, lack of reliability when it comes to guys like Jalen Reagor. Quez Watkins, he might catch a couple long ones. He's looked good, but, there's just so much inconsistency at the wide receiver position on this team outside of Devontae Smith. And then obviously on the other side of the ball, I will heap praise on opposing running backs all season against the Eagles. Like, just start running backs against the Eagles. They cannot stop the run. Ever since they lost Brandon Graham, it's just been a sieve, and it's not getting any better. DeAndre Swift, I mean, this is just an absolute smash spot for him. The Eagles defense, they're allowing 7 receptions per game to opposing running backs, and then they're allowing 3rd most rushing yards per game. So, you don't have to worry necessarily about Jared Goff in this situation. The passing game, I'm not really interested in, but, DeAndre Swift, and even if you're really reaching for Jamal Williams as a punt play, you can run it back even with both of them. I mean, if you're playing showdown, that'd be great to throw a unique lineup with both of those running backs against them. But in terms of a game stat, I love, the Hurts, Gainwell, Goddard, any kind of combination of that, and run it back with DeAndre Swift. And then in terms of the high price game, that is the Buffalo Bills and the Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins, Mike Gesicki, he's turning into an alpha tight end. Love him. In terms of this game, though, give me Josh Allen, give me Stephon Diggs, give me one of those running backs, whether it's Zach Moss or Devin Singletary, even Emmanuel Sanders and Cole Beasley. I mean, like, this Dolphins defense, they're allowing top 10 performances for all positions, whether it's opposing quarterbacks, running backs, tight ends, receivers, like, you name it. The Bills offense is going to be without Dawson Knox. So, some of these other receivers, Emmanuel Sanders and Cole Beasley, they're going to get theirs. And this is a game in terms of pace, which it's really, really, really tempting to just load up on this game. So the Buffalo Bills and the Dolphins in neutral pace, the Bills are 3rd in neutral pace. The Dolphins are 13th. Okay. So that doesn't necessarily mean a lot considering that the Bills are heavy favorites in this game. They're 2 touchdown favorites. Well, in situations like that, when the Bills are leading by 7 or more points, they're still 11th in pace. And the Dolphins, when they're trailing by 7, they're 12th in pace. So this is going to be a lot of possessions, a lot of plays. That's good for fantasy purposes. You want that high pace kind of game because the more fantasy plays, again, the more chances that you have for a target or a touch for one of your guys. And then on the flip side of that, look, these AFC East games sometimes get wild. If for some reason Miami goes out to a lead, and this has been a crazy season, right? Miami, when they have the lead of a touchdown or more, they are 3rd in pace. The Bills are 1st in pace when they're trailing by a touchdown. Like, if the Dolphins can somehow be an effective offense this week, like, this game could be a high-scoring game. So the last 6 games between the Bills and Dolphins, they've had a game total of 59 points, 52 points, 57, 59, 82, and then the matchup this year, it was 35-0 for the Bills. But those other 5 previous matchups, like, there are a lot of points that get scored between these 2 teams. I love this game. Give me all the pass catchers for the Bills, and I'll even sprinkle in, like I said, Zach Moss or Devin Singletary. But, this is a great game target. And I'm definitely looking at the Bills offense this week as just, give me as much of them as I can fit into my lineup. That's this week. Be sure to smash the like button down here. Leave a comment. Also, head on over to our Discord, though. There's always people, answering questions, trying to help you out. And especially when it comes to like DFS, hop in there on Sunday morning, and we're all trying to hunt that title, right? We all want first place in a GPP. We're going to do our best to try and help you get there too. So, good luck this week, and we'll talk to you soon.